Hello everyone, I hope you're all well. Today I'd like to invite you to a very Yorkshire Christmas, or the run-up to Christmas really, because I'd just like to have a bit of a cosy chat with you about some of the things I bought for my very first York Christmas, and also some of the things I've been doing, as I say, on the run-up to Christmas. So hopefully this video will be a little bit of a mix of recommendations, some beautiful clips of places that I've been to recently, things I bought myself and also other people, I guess. And I just kind of wanted to share it because most of these things I want to feature are independent local makers, and if I was kind of like organised I would have potentially done this as a gift guide, but in fact I've just been treating myself in York and just buying myself little things, and so I thought I'd just get started. The first one is obvious, and I have done a video of me decorating it, my tree, my beautiful fake tree that I am quite honestly I'm in love with it, and it has made my life so much brighter and more joyful. Even today I've been obviously at work. I'm filming this on Christmas Eve, and just working with it on in the background, like this tree lights up the entire room and therefore has also kind of lit up my life, gave my life meaning, to be perfectly honest. Our tree this year, because obviously we haven't had one before, has really kind of become a motif, a symbol, and we keep buying, I say we keep buying things, I keep buying things that have Christmas trees on them, including this kind of dinner set that I thought I'd show you of Spode, which I'm sure I'll probably include other clips of when I'm actually using it on Christmas Eve, which is when we're planning to do our actual Christmas dinner this year. But I'm just obsessed. Anything with Christmas trees on it this year I have bought, and I've been unstoppable. I'll just show you one plate rather than the entire set, because no one's really got time to look at the same design in multiple different things. But this is the Spode Christmas tree set that is from 1938, I believe, and I just think it looks so, I guess, kind of retro, vintagey. Obviously it's a slightly kind of off, kind of cream colour, off-white, with this beautiful kind of green rim, and I just love how joyful it is, and also just how random it is with Father Christmas up there at the top of the tree, which I feel like was actually an error at some point, I think, in the making of this design. But it just is so kind of joyful, and I'm really excited to actually use it, because I'm using our little Spode mugs every single day and having to wash them every time. Alongside the dinner set I also bought a Christmas tree table runner, which I love. It is like pure white rather than the kind of off-white kind of cream colour of the Spode plates, but we can't have, not everything can be perfect, and the fact that I'm raising this means that I am actually truly troubled by it. Our dining room table where we eat in the evening is in this room, and so at no point are we ever going to escape kind of a Christmas tree, because you're either eating on one, eating on top of one, or you're looking at one, which is my dream. The next Christmas tree thing, and I'm aware this isn't very Yorkshire yet, but bear with me, is this Lego Christmas tree that I bought for Ben. This is part one of Ben's Christmas present this year. We don't normally do Christmas presents, but this year I have actually kind of bought Ben a big present. But I also got him this Christmas tree because I thought it would be a really nice centre piece for our table. Yet again, more Christmas trees on the table. But I just think it's really cute, and I'm really worried about dropping it, because if I dropped it I would not be able to make it again. Not that I did make it the first time. I was involved in nothing apart from the purchase of this Christmas tree. My Christmas tree theme has also extended to one of Ben and I's favourite Christmas traditions, which is our cheesy, ugly card. Every year at Christmas we go to often Clinton's cards. No offence if you buy your Christmas cards from Clinton's, but we go and buy the worst Christmas card for each other. And when I say the worst, they're nearly always just massively cheesy. They have loads of verses inside, they, you know, loads of text, they often have kind of glitter things stuck to it, gems stuck to them. My card that Ben has got, the card that Ben has got me has actually come in a box this year, so it's going to be fancy. But the card, and I will insert a little clip of me buying the card in the shop, has a Christmas tree on, but also because inside there's a little picture of a cat as well. But obviously Ben isn't allowed to watch this video until Christmas Day, when he gets this card. I'll be honest with you, at the start of this video I was not expecting to talk about Christmas trees as much as I've ended up doing. Otherwise I would have said, welcome to my Yorkshire Christmas, but this is mainly about Christmas trees. But going on to York, I have had many lovely evenings walking around, and also just days walking around York and Christmas shopping, and I do feel like the reason I feel so festive this year is not only the influence of having a Christmas tree, it's also just how festive the city feels with its lights and the smell of York at Christmas. Well, there's something really special about it, and I'm aware with the Christmas market York can feel so overwhelming, but it is such a beautiful place to visit. And even at the weekend we had the most beautiful day kind of walking around with like blue skies and kind of crisp winter air, and you can't beat it, there's nothing better. But of course, when I have been going out Christmas shopping in York, I have been buying myself things with Christmas trees on it, including this lovely, very kind of kitsch 1990s Christmas tree pillow, which I got in the German Christmas shop in York, and it's covered in cat hair already, even though they're actually banned from this room. This cushion takes me straight back to my 1990s childhood. This is what this looks like and feels like to me. It is a tapestry pillow made in Germany, and I just kind of been wanting to collect things that I feel like will be like the tradition, that every year we get out the Christmas tree pillow when we get out the Christmas tree. And I just love it. And I've also walked past this kind of Christmas shop in York for years and never gone in. It's my first year I've ever gone in. So of course, and I did actually look around for kind of other pillows like this, TK Maxx and stuff, but I'm kind of happy that I have the real deal, and I love it. So yeah, just another thing to add to the collection. While I've been in York, I've also just been hunting down Christmas trees. We went to the Christmas Tree Festival at York Minster, which is where they basically fill York Minster with 70 small Christmas trees. And they're all decorated by kind of local primary schools and local charities. And it is the most magical thing because each tree is different, each tree kind of represents the school or the charity, and they have obviously all taken on different themes. Not only do you get to look at all the Christmas trees, which evidently from the beginning of this video I'm a big fan of, it also highlights some charities that I hadn't heard of before, and you also just get to spend time in York Minster, which I think without a shadow of a doubt is one of my favourite places in the UK. I just think it's so beautiful and white, and I know there's a lot of sentimental attachment for me in York Minster. Obviously I've been there as a student, we've graduated there, but every time I go in, it just kind of takes my breath away a little bit. And as York residents we get in free, and it's just reminded me of how much we need to take advantage of that. I've just realised that my Christmas tree haul isn't in fact over, because after we went to the Christmas Tree Festival in York Minster, we went to the Bar Chocolatiers in the Shambles, which, you know, is something that Ben and I do a lot, to go and get their hot chocolate shot, which again, if you haven't done, I can't recommend it enough. But when we were there getting a chocolate shot, I saw that they did little Christmas trees. And so of course I had to bring some little chocolate Christmas trees for Christmas Day. I'll move on now to a few edible things, and I have to say York is one of the best places I think to go and kind of eat out and enjoy food, because it's just such a foodie city now, and I can't remember it being this foodie when we were students. But I've loved, in fact, I can't even say I've loved the York Christmas market, because actually the only thing I've eaten at the Christmas market this year has been poutine. I've discovered a love of poutine, which completely makes sense because chips and gravy is just a staple. It's been a staple since childhood for me. It's one of my favourite things to eat, and chips and cheese is also a massive staple for me, but that came from my university days. But poutine is obviously the Canadian dish of chips, gravy and cheese curds, and I've never had proper poutine before. And because Ben and I are going on a big trip to Canada next year, of course I had to get to know more about Canada via eating copious amounts of poutine. So I can insert probably a picture of the poutine and maybe a video of the store. I don't know how much I filmed with this poutine, but it was quite an important event for me this year. But York is such a really amazing place to get food, and there's always a few places that we love going back to for little kind of sweet treats and just kind of, yeah, treating ourselves. And obviously Bar Chocolatiers is one of them, but so is the York Cocoa House. And so for Christmas I got a sachet of their hot chocolate, and I got their classic hot chocolate, which is 50%. This hot chocolate is made in York and comes from a recipe from 1644, and Ben and I always go in and sit and get drinks at York Cocoa House, and we've also done things like a workshop there before. But I wanted to get some because on Christmas Day we're going to go out for a walk, and I wanted to actually get a flask of proper hot chocolate to take with us on our walk around York on Christmas, which is just perfect. There's 5 servings in here, but it will not take us long to go through this. I know I mentioned my Bird and Burnt advent calendar in one of my last videos, and this isn't a York-based company, but I have to say just how much I've been enjoying this, and I thought we could open the next one together. So today is the 23rd. Hot cinnamon, top secret mystery tea. Okay, that's right. That smells amazing. That went straight to the back of my throat. sorry, the cinnamon actually just started a bit of a sneezing fit, so really good ingredients. What we've really been enjoying about the Advent calendar is just exploring new teas, not just the kind of Christmassy ones, because it is a mixture, and we have discovered a new favourite, and so we went to the Wonderland in York and got a little loose leaf, and it is mint chocolate rooibos, which is just beautiful. So that is kind of my new tea recommendation so far from our tea advent calendar. Going back to the original theme that I intended to be the main theme of this video, a very Yorkshire Christmas, I can't not mention Betty's. Betty's is a cafe restaurant in Yorkshire, has several locations including a really beautiful one in York which I've mentioned a few times, but because it was our first proper York Christmas I wanted to go and buy us a few treats, and so I picked up some spiced Christmas shortbread, rich butter shortbread with pieces of stem ginger and cinnamon made at our craft bakery. And I also have to say, these illustrations, just the packaging as well, is just so beautiful. But it felt really special actually kind of queuing in Betty's to get it. I also picked up some mince pies, which is a box of 12, and I've got it in the freezer at the moment because the lady said they were fine to be frozen, but now I've got so many mince pies to eat because we still were buying other mince pies, but getting it, but these ones in the freezer. So I'm now going to enjoy many mince pies and also the shortbread. I'm thinking really hard about how I can actually link all my little purchases together, and I'm not sure, so please appreciate the transition from shortbread to a soap gingerbread that I'm now attempting to make. I love smelly things, and so for Christmas I really wanted to get a Christmassy soap, and I've been on the lookout for ages, and then I went to the Yorkshire Soap Company and their beautiful shop in York, which honestly is like being in a movie set, and I really like treating myself occasionally to their soaps, and they had a gingerbread, and the little gingerbread man is not only so cute, it's such a lovely soap. Now obviously his buttons and his eyes have been removed because we're obviously now using it, so he doesn't look as good as he does in the clips anymore, but it is really lovely, and yet again it's another Yorkshire business, and you can always find something in that shop as a really nice treat for someone or yourself after a long day, which is the day I bought my gingerbread. It'd been a rough one, and so I needed a novelty soap. One thing that you'll definitely notice from this video, and also I just hope in my channel in general, is all of the independent shops that York has. We are so unbelievably lucky to basically be, I think we're more independent traders than kind of big chains, which means there are always something nice to discover that is just local to York, and so this kind of Christmas season I have been trying to get things from independents rather than kind of big companies, including my Christmas cards, and I'm hoping by the time I film this video everyone I know has opened Christmas cards from me. Not that I'm a big Christmas card sender, I now really just send them to like family, I don't do lots anymore, and this year I got my Christmas cards from Just Smile Designs, and yes, this is a Christmas card that I've completely forgotten to send someone, so I will keep it in a drawer for next year, which always happens, but Just Smile Designs is on the edge of, now okay, in York I don't know whether it's pronounced Giddygate or Giddygate, I've never known, I've always said Giddygate, I think it might be Giddygate. But they're just on that corner, and their shop is beautiful, and I've bought many things from them since I've moved, even kind of, you know, gifts for people and also cards and just artwork in general, but I bought a little selection for my Christmas cards this year, and I just think they're a really nice personal touch, especially because this is our special kind of first Christmas in the city. I'm aware that my channel can seem like a big visit York ad at points, but it's because I love this city, and as I said, the independents make such a huge difference, and also all the makers fairs are always on, whether it's kind of artwork or food, and I went to one this Christmas in the Guildhall, which I had never been in, which itself was another beautiful building, and with York I keep, even though despite living here for like 4 years, I've never been down the little pathway next to the mansion house, and I've never seen this hall before, but we went into the Guildhall and I wasn't going to buy anything, but I have left with a few things, including another Christmas card, so I'll start there. I bought a Christmas card and a print from Bejojo Art, so I'll start with the card, but I will put their kind of website below. The Christmas card, if you're familiar with the UK, this is the Angel of the North, and my dad is the Geordie, and so we spent, which is when you're from Newcastle, and I spent all my childhood, especially over Christmas, travelling up to see family in Newcastle, because I've got family on both sides, my mum and my dad, who are all up north, and whenever we would see the Angel of the North, and my dad would say that we were finally back in God's country, aka where he grew up and where he's from. And so I'm going to give this to him next year, and because it's my dad, I know that even if he watches this video, he will completely forget by the time I give it to him, and as will I probably, so I need to make a note of that, otherwise I sound quite smug, but I think it's really beautiful. The next thing I picked up from Bejojo's art store is this Yorkshire tea print. Yorkshire tea is my favourite tea, and not just because we live in Yorkshire. Ben and I have loved it for a really long time, and I just love how bold this print is. And Ben and I have a tea station which has kind of like, we already have little teacups on the wall, and we have a little teacup stand, we have the kettle there, and so we already have a place where I know this is going to go. And I wouldn't normally go for kind of orange and pink, but I just love how bright and beautiful it looks. And you know, we are Yorkshire tea devotees, so it's perfect. Also at the Guildhall Fair Market we picked up some jams and also some sauces ready for Christmas. This is from Bracken Hill Yorkshire Preserves. It's the berry Christmas jam, which is strawberry and raspberry jam with orange liqueur. And we got some cranberry sauce and some apple sauce, because I just kind of thought it was better buying it local than just getting it from a supermarket. But also I love people who make their own jams. It's just, I don't even like jam. Ben likes jam, lemon curds. Even last time we were in Malton, there was a fair on and someone was selling the jams obviously that they make. And I'm just a sucker. If you're selling jams and if you also happen to be old, I'm going to buy it. I think that's something that reminds me of my grandparents, because my granddad always made jams, and I just find it such a lovely thing to do and spend your time doing. And I just love how proud people seem of their jams and their condiments, and I don't know, this thing just really speaks to my soul. So if I'm ever at a fair and someone is selling a jam, I will buy a jam for Ben. But I think we do have some croissants and stuff for Christmas Day for breakfast as a nice breakfast, and so I feel like a jam will be a good addition to that. But yeah, Ben has already opened it, I think. Yeah. Oh yeah, he's had a little chunk out of it. That smells amazing. It literally just reminds me of my nan and granddad, so yeah, but very excited to try some of these. For the last few weeks, Ben and I have been trying to be as festive as possible, which included going to see a Muppet's Christmas Carol with Ben's mum. Ben's mum had never seen the film before, and a Muppet's Christmas Carol is one of the things I love most in the world. And watching it, we watched it in St Saviour Gate, which was a beautiful church in York that Pitch House, the cinemas, are kind of using as a pop-up over Christmas, which was like a perfect setting for it. But watching the film just made me realise how perfect it is on every single level. The music, the accuracy to the book as well. I definitely feel like it's one of the most faithful adaptations. The acting, everything, the Muppets, everything about it, I just keep thinking that I need to write an essay on it. I just feel so passionately about it. The only thing that made me sad was, and I told Helen, Ben's mum, to be prepared for this, is that in theatrical versions of the Muppets Christmas Carol, the song When Love Is Gone, which I think if you have watched the Muppets Christmas Carol you'll know which song I mean, is removed from the cinema version, but it is in the ones you can watch at home. And without that song, the film is nothing. I just think it really impacts the narrative and the emotional weight of the film. So as soon as we got home, I made sure she watched that. But yeah, we've done that. The next thing that we also did with Helen's mum was that she went to the Treasurer's house to look at more Christmas trees, because there is nothing I love better than a National Trust place dressed up for Christmas. I just love it. And as predicted, it was beautiful. The next very magical thing we did when Ben's mum was up was go to Castle Howard, which is a stately home in York, or in kind of Yorkshire, and it is beautiful, and every year they dress up for Christmas. But when we first went, it was just traditional dressing up for Christmas. But I think for the last maybe, I don't know, 5 years, they've done themes, and this year's theme was Alice in Wonderland, and I have the little leaflet here, just to prove I've been, but I'm going to insert some clips because it was completely mad in the best way possible. It was like walking on a film set. I've never, even just the soundscapes that we used, the lighting, everything was completely crazy in the best kind of, Mad Hatter way. And it was truly kind of every room you were just being swept along by the story and by also the inspirations of Alice in Wonderland as well. And I remember studying Alice in Wonderland in my MA at the University of York, and so I just was kind of, it just, yeah, brought the book back to life for me again, because actually when I studied it I didn't really enjoy studying it that much. I didn't really enjoy that one Victorian module I had, and so I kind of have left with like quite not negative feelings towards Alice in Wonderland, but just kind of neutral feelings towards it as a story. But actually kind of almost being inside the book, going around Castle Howard, was something really magical, as I said. But it was quite frankly insane. Like, there were mushrooms coming up from the chaise longues and the furniture, and the Mad Hatter's tea party preparations with the cake, and just the busyness of it was just something out of this world. And it was truly incredible. Like, I wasn't expecting, when I knew it was going to be themed, I kind of thought, because I'd only ever been to one Christmas there, which was just, as I said, a traditional Christmas, I kind of thought it'd be like I don't know, themed trees rather than like entire themed rooms and just giant kind of figurines. And yeah, it's something that I wish, you know, when you're an adult and you think, oh my goodness, I wish like small Claire could see this, even though I'm sure like actual small Claire would have probably been terrified. I probably would have found it a bit scary, because that's who I was. It wasn't scary at all, but I know I would have done. But I think it's those kind of events, I think, remind you to always look at the world through a child's mind, a child's eye, because I was just completely in awe of it. Yeah, and I can't recommend it enough, and I think it's going on until January if you can get tickets. We had the most beautiful weather for Castle Howard as well. It was a true kind of winter day when the skies are blue but it's really crisp and cold, and Castle Howard is also the filming location of Brideshead Revisited, the Jeremy Irons one, and so of course when I went into the gift shop I had to treat myself. Brideshead Revisited by Evelyn Waugh is actually one of my favourite novels of all time, even though I don't feel like I've ever really, I have spoken about it on my channel, but actually probably when I was studying at university, which is why I read it for the first time, so a long time ago. And when I saw this new hardback by Penguin, I have been wanting to read more Evelyn Waugh and therefore probably collect this series, but I've only ever read Brideshead Revisited. So if you have any Evelyn Waugh recommendations, please let me know, because I'm going to add them to my 2025 reading list, and I think I also might read this or reread this next year as well. Ben also treated me to some more St Nicholas decorations. The St Nicholas decorations are the ones that are all over my tree, and whenever you go to kind of like a castle or like especially a historic place, they always seem to have them, and so I've added 3 new ones to my collection. The first one was the White Rabbit, obviously from Alice in Wonderland, to mark Castle Howard and the Alice in Wonderland kind of installation. The next one Ben picked up himself because it's a pheasant, and Ben and I have a long history with pheasants, because obviously when you drive in the countryside in the UK they are everywhere, and I have a massive fear of ever like roadkill. Like, the idea of knocking something down makes me want to die myself. Like, I would rather be knocked down, I think, than knock something else down. Pheasants in general bring me a lot of stress. Their noises upset me. They constantly want to get killed on the road because they have no sense, in my opinion, and you know, whether they deserve it is a different question. But so when Ben saw it, he knew that my fear of them as roadkill has to be commemorated on the tree, especially because it's always when we go on kind of car trips now in Yorkshire. And I'm aware that it might seem silly to have something that we don't like on the tree, but we also have Henry VIII. So it all makes sense. Then the last one I picked out is Castle Howard itself, looking very stately. I think it's a stunning decoration, and I walked around a lot with the decoration, taking pictures of the decoration with the actual Castle Howard behind it, just to compare. But I like having places we visited on this tree, and I hope that as the time goes on we get more memories and we have to have multiple trees. Our box of decorations is already pretty much overflowing, so it's nice to add a few more to our collection to kind of mark the end of this Christmas season, I guess, we're approaching. I'm actually going to end this video with the thing that Ben and I loved the most so far this kind of Christmas season, and it is a trip to Fairfax House, which is a historic townhouse in York, which I already love for all of the 18th century kind of reasons, but they had a Christmas Mousestery as their exhibition. It's not an exhibition, but like an event. It was a moment. It was life-changing, if I'm honest. Basically, Fairfax House has set up Fairfax House as if a crime has been committed. You become Agatha Christie, but the suspects are little fabric mice. You go around looking for the bandit, and you look around going to find out who has stolen this ruby, who has committed the crime. Each room you go into, you hear the suspects, or you read the suspect's witness statement, and as you go around, there is just an incredible amount of fabric mice in hilarious, creative situations. It was the best thing that I've actually done in a really long time as an adult. You know, going back, corroborating their different witness statements, guessing who had done it. I got it completely wrong because I ended up going completely off on a tangent and made a massive story out of this, and at the beginning it is for children, therefore maybe the most straightforward answer is. But then, a bit like Agatha Christie, sometimes it's the most straightforward that you think is too simple to be the murderer or to be the thief in this case. There was an actual murder committed, but I did take it that seriously. But just the creativity of how all of the rooms were set up for Christmas with these mice, they were all really funny, and everywhere you turn there was a new kind of mouse hanging up from the ceiling with a massive cheese behind a pillar. Everything about it was so fun and just full of just joyous, which is exactly, I feel like, the meaning of Christmas. And especially after, you know, watching the Muppet's Christmas Carol, you always feel very favourable towards mice, I feel. But if you get a chance to go, please do. It was one of the best things Ben and I have ever done. And of course we had to bring our very own mouse home. Of course I couldn't end this video without another final Christmas tree mention. So the little mouse we picked up in the gift shop has a little silver glistening Christmas tree, and I love him, and a little Christmas jumper, and it is a little decoration, but Ben and I have him on our mantelpiece next to our Christmas tree. If you are here with me now at the end of this video, please leave a Christmas tree emoji and maybe even a mouse emoji. If you leave a mouse, then I'll really know that you've listened to the end or watched to the end. But thank you for watching and supporting my channel, and if I don't see you again, which I'm sure I will, but if I don't, I hope you all have a wonderful Christmas and a very happy New Year. Bye!